was not ready at all. I was literally like, I pressed this button. I was like, oh shit, that's the wrong button. Oh fuck it, let's go. So I got the day off, thanks for public holiday, which is good. I was going to do some streaming Wednesday night, but since I had today off, I was like, I'll do it on this day off. So I want to hopefully get half this thing done. I realised yesterday that this is going to be a pain in the ass if I want to do the other side, so I have to do this bit first. Otherwise, I'm just going to have to be like really careful with it. Why don't I mix up this stuff first? Nothing is out of shot. I guess it's actually probably. Sorry. Too far. So stuck. I think I just managed to go around in circles with that one. I'm pretty sure I got everything working too. I had a problem last time. Oh, it's much a problem. What's it called? My chat thing wasn't working correctly, so I wasn't seeing any chat stuff. But I think I've got it working again. So this is going to be a pretty quickish one. I need to leave by about 4 o'clock. Because I got to go look at a house at 4 o'clock and then be told that I didn't have a fucking... I don't have enough money to buy a house. It's one of those things right now, particularly here in Australia, it's apparently a great time to buy a house. It is not a good time to buy a house. It's because like everybody else, it's a great time to sell a house if you own a house. It's because everybody else is fighting over any kind of housing that goes up for sale. The prices, it just turns into like a bidding war, and all the prices get really blown out. Like there was a pretty small place that me and my partner went and had a look at, and we're like, oh yeah, we'll put in an offer for this one. Let's just go, because people are fighting over it, we'll do like 10k over what they're asking. Like that should be more than enough. No. Pretty much immediately didn't have the top offer on the house. And I was like, well, I'm not going to go any higher. And the house finally just settled like yesterday. And they had how much it sold for up on the posting. It sold for 42k over asking price. And I was just like, yeah, it's a shit ass time if you want to buy a house. Literally everyone is just fighting over shit. Oh man, that's stuck now. Oh, there it goes. Okay. I might go brown, black, 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 red. Oh, gold. Sorry, not brown. Kinda gold. Not really gold. Because the gold I picked didn't work. That should work. Sorry, I just had to check something. I was like, did that work? I never tried it before. And it did. Oh yeah. I keep like, oh yeah, let me just check how this is going. This just looks like yellow paint. Oh, like slightly off gold. It's again a lot darker in person. It's going to be very. I don't think any amazing new news since last week. I don't think I've done anything super exciting. Just had to clean out my bloody water filter thing today. I haven't done it in a while because I kind of forgot about it, and I can't believe I was drinking water out of it. there was so much black shit on the bottom of the water filter stuff, like this black, like gooey crap, and I was like, holy shit. So I had to give it a really good clean and got some new filters and stuff for it, but I was like, I can't believe I was fucking drinking that. That is really gross. Hey Mom. I'm just painting this wood gun thing. How you doing? Just looking around. You got the whole family. Well, is Grandma watching too or something? Where you got Greg you're showing Greg. I forgot I'm not like fucking steady hands over here. I was like, why is it? Because I was looking at it after last time I did some streaming on it. Any plans for your birthday yet? Nah, I haven't made anything plans yet. I have to think about something, I guess. I might just go out for dinner or something with some of my mates. I don't know. I don't usually like to do a lot for my birthday. I'm kind of over it now. phone keeps unlocking and just having the camera on. Why it keeps doing that? It only happens once on the thing. That's interesting. I don't know why that happens. I don't know why it comes up. I was just looking at the chat thing, and it's doing it twice on the bot thing. It keeps pulling old information and reposting it, but if I check on the stream, it doesn't actually come up. Oh, it's like, what am I hitting? I'm hitting the bloody mic. It's so fiddly, and I have like the steady hands of someone suffering from Parkinson's. I'm not doing great. Just bottom yellow too. Ah shit, put it on the black. Hang over that. Thanks, Mum. I will have fun. Love you too. Look at me. So bloody. All the way on this. Yeah, I'm trying to think. There's not much been going on lately. Just been watching. I've been just engrossed a lot lately in like news and stuff, and I kind of want to pull myself away from it because there's just shit that's been going on lately that it just makes me sad, really. Part of it is like, I don't know, I just get stuck listening to a lot of like commentators for American shit. Go on my fingers. Commentators in America like commenting on like their stuff. I don't know, it's just like I find it just too engrossing and interesting, but at the same time it's like I need to pull myself away from it because it's really sad, but at the same time it doesn't have an effect. Like really, the effect it has on me is so, like in my day-to-day life, it's so minuscule, and it's like I shouldn't be giving this as much attention as what I am. So I need to pull myself away from it, but it's just sometimes it's just too. It just finds a way to draw me back in. But then it's like, then my own and then like some of the other stuff my own government's been trying to pull, which is just like, it's just like some like, it's just shit that's just like, really, we're doing this now, like, because like the two, well, they're like the two for like fucking Morrison wanting to bring in like identification shit, so that people, you have to have your personal identifying information linked to your like your social media account. And of course they're like putting it on the guise of like, oh, it's for social safety and blah blah blah. But they're doing it through the guise of protecting people from social media, but they don't plan to actually punish the actual media organizations like Facebook and Twitter and that. Instead they are limiting the freedoms of the people using the platforms. Like if they really wanted to if they actually cared about making like proper systematic changes to Facebook and Google, not Google, but like Facebook, I suppose Google with YouTube, but like with Facebook and Twitter and pretty much whatever else, wouldn't you pass like legislation that like would fine or otherwise like make it harder for these companies to make money within Australia if they're not like actively helping to like root out hate speech and that on their platform? Like if you set up a system where like if you found, because it's like it's clear that like especially from all the data leaks and stuff that's coming out about Facebook for the what I think it's called the Facebook papers now, that like they actively make it so that you actually, the more time you spend on, they actually want to make you angry and upset using their platform, because that way they can stand to make more money. Wouldn't it be better to like fine them or like have some kind of like tariff or something to operate within our country for not putting the public safety ahead of your profits? Because that would actually be more of an incentive for like Facebook and Twitter and Reddit and like whatever else to actually like pick up their game when it comes to moderation on their platform, because if they leave it unchecked they stand to lose money. So they would be more incentivized to come up with more and better ways to moderate their platform and make it a safer place to use. But instead of doing that, they want to punish the users. Granted, they want to punish the users that are misusing the platforms to torment people, but they're doing it in a way that will punish people who just using the platform for just everyday things, like just chatting with friends and family and like seeing what's going on in their communities and that. They're ultimately getting punished for a small group of loud idiots. Because like none of these companies have like perfect security. Like you'll often hear about stuff where they had data leaks and that, where it's like information that they had gathered on you got leaked out and people have access to it. What do you think is going to happen when the same thing happens, but they have a copy of like your driver's license on file, or your birth certificate, or your passport, or like whatever other information you had to provide them so that they could identify you as the person, you as you. Like you're going to be just everyday users are going to be widely more affected negatively with this kind of legislation than like the one troll that told Scott Morrison that he's a fucking dickhead, which I'm pretty sure 90% of the fucking Australian population would be like, yeah, he is a fucking dickhead. So yeah, I don't know what, like, where that's going, if that will actually go ahead, or because these fucking dickheads are more interested in their own personal profit, so they might be just using it as like a fucking like threat to try and get to extort more money out of like Facebook themselves. Because here's the other thing too, even though they're like carrying on, it's like, oh, Facebook's had it too good for too long, and it's like it's been a drain on our system and blah blah blah, and it's like bad for the mental health of the average person. They haven't done anything about it. The companies still don't pay tax in our like or anything. They don't like help or do anything. Like they're not being punished, or like they're not even like being like at slightly like disadvantaged from doing whatever they want. So like, how can you possibly stand there and virtue signal about cyberbullying while at the same time just allowing these companies to do whatever they want with impunity when it comes to like taking tax, like taking money away and wealth from the country that like they operate in? So, well, I know the answer to it anyway. The answer is like they don't care. Like that's the answer. The answer is like they just don't care anyway. Like it's like they're just a two-faced fucking bunch of morons that actively just wanna be China, really. Like Morrison and his mates, they as much as they decry like China as some kind of evil dictatorship, they desperately at the same time want to be China. They desperately want to just like control their population by like controlling the media that they have, by silencing dissent, so that they can still be the authoritative dictatorship in charge and act with impunity. And it's like fucking Morrison's trying to like bring in bloody just trying to like be America as well, so he wants to bring in fucking these weird ass voter laws to restrict voting in this country because of something that's never happened. Like voter fraud's never been a thing in Australia, because when you register to vote, you have to give over so much information already to like another government entity that they already like can know and track everything for when you do vote, and like they don't know who you vote for, but they know when you vote and where you went to vote, and like yeah, like it's not an issue. But he's just trying to bring it in because either he's like desperately wants to stay in power for some reason. I don't know why he wants to. Ultimately, I'm pretty sure the Liberals want Labor to get in charge so they can fix their mess, so that in the next 3 years when they get re-elected, they can fuck it all up again. Yeah, let me stop talking about it. It shit makes me angry sometimes, and it like really like fucking tilts me. Yeah, this is also one of the things where it's like, yeah, this is the reason why I want to like stop consuming so much news, because it gets I feel just annoyed all the time, because you hear about like when I heard the net zero stuff from the government, my immediate like reaction to that was just full on doubt. Like I highly doubt that the Liberals have actually turned a corner and they've changed their mind and they're no longer like, they're like pro, I was gonna say pro climate change, they're pro change. It's just like full on like, no, they've never cared, and I'm ruining this. I just realised I'm putting my hands all over some wet paint. One of the things I have been doing to try and essentially avoid being on social media, really, and reading news articles and stuff is, while I've been working and stuff, because I usually just listen to just like whatever YouTube will spit out while I'm working. But since I've been listening to a lot of like political stuff lately, YouTube's just only giving me political stuff to watch. So I just keep falling down this stupid rabbit hole of like more and more like shit. So I've been like, I need to like actively like step away from this. So I've been getting back into Star Wars audiobooks. They've been pretty good. I started the High Republic series on Audible, which is I think it's like the new series that Disney's brought out. It's just like a new series, I think it came out last year, either last year or earlier this year. And it's really good. Like it's set, I'm trying to remember where it's set. It's set like 100 years or 200 years before oh fuck, what's it called? Before episode 1. So it's set like before the Phantom Menace in the prequels. And it's all about I think because there's a few different like writers. I think they're doing like some weird like joint like joint bloody how would you describe it? Like a joint media kind of thing, so that like it's not all just like a book series. There's like a book series, a short novel series, and I think a few comic series that are all part of this like High Republic kind of like story, but all the stories they come off what happens in the first book. So in the first book, there's like this massive incident that happens. And I actually kind of like this a lot more than like they still have like there's like a few big bads, but like they're only like relevant to they're only like really relevant to each like individual story. But the main catalyst for the story that creates all the other stories to lynch off of is there's like a hyperspace accident where a massive like passenger starship collides with a giant I can't remember what it was. It was like a giant something in hyperspace, and it causes because the passenger ship is traveling at like, it's like a passenger ship with like cargo as well. So there's a bunch of different cargo stuff, which is relevant in the story. It collides and explodes apart, but it's like traveling like near the speed of light. And since they were where it collided, they were coming up close to a another system, like a planet system, and the entire like first half of the first book is like a massive like disaster kind of like story, where all these pieces of this like massive ship are coming out of hyperspace at the speed of light, and they're like crashing into all the infrastructure set up around the planet, so wiping out space stations, if it hitting planets and like essentially slowly destroying the planets. And it's happening so quickly and so randomly because you can't see any of these like pieces of the ship, because they're both traveling at the speed of light, but they're also in hyperspace still, so they don't appear until they're actually in normal space. So it's just like at any moment a giant piece of fragment can just come out of nowhere traveling at the speed of light and just wipe you out. And it actually happens a lot, where there'll be like characters that you think are being set up as like a main character in the book. Like it's like, okay, this will be a character going forward, and then just like immediately wiped out and they're just killed. And I was just like, holy shit. Because I think I can't remember the writer's name, but the guy that's writing the main books, they're all like adult novels. So they're not young adult novels, they're like more adult, so they have kind of like darker themes and bigger and wider kind of more wider reaching. And I like it a lot more because like some of the stuff is very much a bit more like it's not as like cartoony. So some of the themes around like the Force and like the way that it kind of impacts people, because in the main movies and stuff, when like you have a Jedi that goes to the dark side, it's always done in a way where it's like kind of like cartoonishly evil and very kind of like divorced from reality, because it kind of has to be, because it's kind of like, it is like inherently like a silly concept where someone's just like, I'm evil now, all my values and everything I've ever thought and learnt and said, I'm just gonna go back on it and like start killing kids now. See, it's like, it is a bit like silly, because like if you break it down, like if you think about in the prequel series with Anakin, him killing younglings to save his wife is kind of ridiculous. Like, why would you, as like, you think you as a person, even if you're just desperate to save your husband or wife or boyfriend or girlfriend, would you, if someone was like, came to you and was like, okay, Totes can like save her from her inevitable death, all you need to do is I need you to just like brutally massacre a bunch of children. Like, you would be like, nah, I'm good, thanks fam, not gonna do that because that's insane. And even if you had actual proof that would show me, that you could show me right now, that would like just like be like, yeah, no, like totally, like 100%, if you do this, kill these kids, you're, let's just say like I have like inoperable brain cancer or some shit. Yeah, you kill these kids and that will like get rid of the tumor in your wife's head and she'll be 100% okay. Most people are still going to be like, yeah, nah, I'm not going to kill a bunch of fucking kids. Like, because there's like just like your own morality would come into play, and when you'd be like, no, well, I'm not going to do that. That's ridiculous. And it's ludicrous that this dude would ask me such a thing. But then like you'd also like your partner. You're like, well, like, how's she going to act when she finds out that? Because she will find out at some stage. You'll be like, oh yeah, what kind of magic did you use to like save my life? Like, she's gonna find out that you killed a bunch of fucking kids. Like, she's gonna be like mortified and like just devastated completely that someone she cares about just like ruined a bunch of like children's lives. And you're like, yeah, but it's just like in these like High Republic books, it's presented in a way that's a bit more grounded, I guess is the best way to describe it. And that is patchy and shitty. Oh well, it's good enough, but do I need to fix anywhere up? Because I remember getting some paint. Kind of there. Okay, I'm going to do the last little bit of that. I decided these are going to be red because I was looking at, because some of the other character designs that this stuff has to go with is a lot of blacks, greys and red. Red is the highlight, so I was like, well, I can't not use red. I can't use a different colour because then it won't exactly match the rest of it. So it has to be red, is what I decided. Time is it? About an hour. Oh, I turn that down a bit. The chill beats are too loud in my ears. But anyway, keep explaining so yeah, like all these people are dying. I'm going back to the High Republic book after the tangent about like why it's ridiculous to think that just because you're using the Force, you would kill kids to save one individual person. That is too bright. That is a too bright a red. Let's darken it a little bit with tap of black. Probably more black. What was I saying? Yeah, so back to the Hyperpop. So you got the hyperspace, ship blew up in hyperspace, rain and death on a solar system. Just like wiping out planets because of hyper speed stuff coming out of the nowhere and blowing shit up. They set up the Jedi happened to be near, because the other thing too is like they're like, oh, what are we gonna do? Because it ultimately seems hopeless because they can't actually call for help. Because the stuff's coming so fast, by the time any help came from anywhere far away, it'll be too late. Like everyone's going to be dead by the time any help gets here. So they're ultimately like just trying to get people off the planet as quickly as they can before you get fucking vaporized. And it just so happens that like a ship full of Jedi was going by because they went to some like peace treaty thing, and they're like, oh yeah, we're here, we got the distress thing, so we're here and we're here to save people. And ultimately, and actually built tension quite well throughout the book. This is still like the first half, because they're like a bunch of the Jedis are just dying because they're like crashing their ships and stuff, or they're getting wiped out from stuff coming out of nowhere. There's a threat in the book that they had like a bunch of fuel of something, and it turns out this stuff's like highly flammable, but they had like a fuck ton of it like on the ship, and like a piece of it, it's like a giant tank of it, or this fuel stuff comes out of hyperspace, and it's going to hit the star in the middle of the galaxy, and they like set it up so like this is dangerous because the star is this like certain kind of star that's like at the end of its life cycle, but like the star being the end of its life cycle is like still means it's still got probably like a million years before it either like goes supernova or collapses into a white dwarf. But because it's at this certain stage of its life cycle, it's burning some gas that will react negative. Like the person like set it up so it's like, okay, this needs to make a little bit more sense than like petrol hitting fire because it's in space, and like that doesn't exactly track the same way you think it would. But like essentially it's like when this thing hits the sun, it's going to cause a runaway chain reaction that will like cause the sun to prematurely go supernova. Oh no, not supernova. It would send out like massive solar flares. Sorry, and these solar flares would just cook all the planets. So it wasn't even like, it wouldn't even blow up the sun. It was literally like, this is gonna like just like make a giant solar flare shoot out. And it's just like, this sounds a little bit more plausible because it's like, it's a lot of fuel. You've set it up to a point where like it's not exactly going to completely wipe out the system and blow up planets and stuff, but you don't need it to. Like, you just need it to do like a little bit of damage to the sun that would cause like something, because it's like anything coming out of a, like on the scales that they're talking about, it would just be devastating to life on any planet regardless. Like, yeah, like, and the thing is too, it's like they didn't necessarily need to set that up as like the climactic. It was just like it was the midpoint in the book, so they needed like a climactic thing for everyone to overcome to signal the end of this particular sequence in the story. So like all the Jedi come and work together to stop this like giant piece of fuel from hitting the sun and saving everybody. But necessarily you don't actually need that to be the climactic end, or for it to be like the biggest deal. And it continues not to be the biggest deal. I'll get to that in a sec. But because like you don't need something super big to like end a planet. You just need like the right material traveling at the right speed and hitting like making landfall on a planet, and then you pretty well fucked it. Like you just need like a big rock to hit somewhere on land, and the resulting explosion can be enough to just cook a planet completely and wipe it out. And pretty much, I'm referring pretty much to like the meteorite that wiped out the dinosaurs. Like, it doesn't take much to wipe out a planet. But yeah, like the ongoing kind of like threat. They had this like pirates that are partially responsible for the accident. They didn't do it on purpose, but they because they had some special species or something that can they can kind of understand hyperspace and move about it freely. And I say that in they're not like magic, kind of. Well, they kind of are, but they can't all do it. It's a bit better set up than oh yeah, there's this magic race that can just use hyperspace, because that would break a lot of scaling in the story, any story, and remove threat when you had if you had an alien race that could just use hyperspace freely and willfully and just move around it. Because how do you overcome that? And once, if you were to get that on your side, what would be any threat coming from anything else? The way they're kind of limited is only certain species can really make use of this ability, but even then they got to be they're pretty much got to be cabled up and strapped into a ship's main. They're just you don't get to be a person anymore. You're essentially like a brain in a jar that is wired into a ship, and you lose all free will. But yeah, so these pirates are the main threat, and the other threat is more of the ship is still exploding, coming out of hyperspace at random intervals, and they can't track it. So it's just an unstoppable storm that can strike anywhere. So I highly recommend it, especially the first book is quite good. So I finished that, and I'm on the second book now, but before I started listening to that, I was listening to this. It's shorter stories they have written by other writers, and the one I listened to seemed more like a YA novel than a story, because it had this there's all these kids and stuff, and there's kid problems kind of thing. But it's also had a better portrayal of the dark side and how it takes over someone. There's this kid who wanted revenge because his teacher got killed or something by these pirates. It's kind of his drive for revenge is what pushes him to go to the dark side partially. He only dabbles in it for a little bit, but he just kind of lashes out. It's he's throwing a temper tantrum that he can't quite control. And that's kind of how they portray the dark side in these books, is that it's once it starts to take hold of you, it's something that just keeps pushing your emotions and just keeps pushing you to act in the worst way possible. So you're kind of cognizant of what you're doing, but you can't really resist. Because you're just kind of in that mindset where I was I know I need to do this. And yeah, so it's it's a bit better explored. And it's kind of clear too that they're dabbling in the grey Jedi stuff, which I'm actually excited for, because I think that's a much more interesting philosophy than just the plain normal Jedi. Because normal Jedi stuff is it's cool, but it's kind of dated and not interesting, really. It's kind of expected. The good guys are good and to the point of infallibility, where they're they have no other motivations or drive to be anything else than what they are, and there's no morally grey area that they can explore, because by the nature of their character, that is completely like off limits and removed. Got some paint. Alright. I might do this bit black, and then I'll do this bit, and then the front, and then that should be dried enough to do the other side. I don't know what it is lately either. I've been way more like driven to do more creative stuff. I'm not sure what's like kind of sparked it. Like, it's good. I'm glad I'm finally like feel it more. I do feel like though I don't have enough time, or as much time as I would like, to be able to like invest in some of this stuff. But like, yeah, because like I've always wanted to do more kind of like, I've been wanting to do like this like kind of animation thing for a while. I finally got a story I want to tell down pat, and I'm excited to actually start working on it. And I've been doing all the storyboarding. I've already written up the script for the first episode, and I've done most of the storyboarding now. So all I've got to do left really is I'm doing it with puppetry animation. I've already finished the puppet, so I just have to finish off the it's the mouse. I was like, what keeps flashing? I've just got to finish off the last of the storyboards, so I know what I'm doing, and then start creating the background elements for each scene, record audio, do the like. I suppose it's a lot now that I think about it, but I feel like a lot more driven to do it, and I'm pretty excited then. Like, I'm pretty excited to do that. How am I going to do this bit? I'm just looking at it and I'm like, I need to like get in here, but this like thing moves. I'm just gonna paint over one bit of it, I guess, because I think when I'm done with this isn't gonna move anymore. It's gonna be essentially glued in spot from the paint, which is fine because this is just a rubber band gun. I'm not gonna, I don't know when I'd ever be like, yeah, I'm gonna go shoot some rubber bands because that's fucking the tits. But like other stuff I've been doing like lately is like I've been doing a lot more writing. It's just like something about doing storytelling is just really like got my interest now. So I've just finished. So I've posted it on my website. I haven't posted it on social. I did a picture of like a succubus kind of thing, but like my interpretation of what a succubus is, it's like a I drew it as like a, how would you describe it? Like an anglerfish kind of thing. So like, essentially like, it's like this like toad thing with a skull for a head. But and then like it has like a long tail, and the end of the long tail is the attractive, like, woman bait, which is the bait ultimately. Oh man, look at that shit. I'm also like a bit off. So yeah, this morning I just finished writing up. I've been wanting to write like stories to go along, like a short story that goes along with each like drawing I do now, that isn't directly like lifted from. I'm also getting back into doing fan art too. That isn't like fan art, and it's like something wholly an original thing I came up with. So I'm going to do that again. Yeah, so I just finished this morning writing up a story, a pretty short story. I think it's only like 4 pages about this guy in a small village that goes out into a forest looking for the succubus. Does not have a happy ending. It's very much just it's essentially like it's a story, but it's also like describing how this thing would hunt and how it attacks and like how it operates. Alright. That's looking pretty good actually. I actually like the darker red. I'm glad I went for the red. I was going to do purple, but I decided red would be a better colour. And I was right. It does look a lot better. Okay, so I'm going to do this bit. Sorry, hit the mic. What has time say? Oh, it's at 4 o'clock. I need to get ready to leave by 4 o'clock. Shoot cables away from me. Because I was like fucking in a rush, and I was like listening to something else while I was doing that. And I was like, oh shit. I've gone and made a mess. Yeah. Okay. So what was I going to do? I think these bits gold, that black, and then this brown. I think that's what I thought I was going to do. Black? Yeah. Black, gold, brown, and brown. And I might touch this up a bit more again, because it's looking a bit, I can still see through it. It looks a bit kind of meh. But I think that's left over from when I tried the gold paint, or the flecks of gold and shit that came out like crap. So just doing one more layer here. Layer. You can tell I use Photoshop too much. Coat. Do more coat of paint. Yeah, so I'm also doing more fan art stuff, mainly to sell on like display and like my shop stuff, just because like, well, I like doing, trying to sell my own stuff on sales and that. Most people don't want to buy like original artwork. They just want to buy like fan art. Like my best selling like piece of artwork that I sell regularly on, that gets sold the most regularly on like Redbubble, Display, and TeePublic is this like Ratchet and Clank. Like my Ratchet and Clank fan art gets bought the most by like a lot. Like I'll go and check my display, like recent commissions, and like the last 5 would be like Ratchet and Clank. So, like, it's great. I'm glad people like it and that they're buying it. But it's like I kind of wish my original stuff would take off. Would be as good as selling. Not like the most, but like as would sell as well as What do I want to do? Should I do the black first? No, I should do the brown first. I'll do this, and that way the top can just be the brown. Yeah, so I wish it would sell like as well, but it's just not what people want to buy. They want to buy the thing that they know, not like stuff that they don't. Which is fair enough. Like, I'd rather buy the thing I'm more familiar of and that I'm a fan of than something else that I might not like. And the thing is, like, it might change in the future. If I she might just check something. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah. Like, this might change in the future. Like, I'm thinking, like, if I were to develop some kind of following or something, then yeah, that my original stuff probably would go up a lot more. But for now, just I think I found a way of doing it. So because part of the reason I kind of stopped was like I wasn't happy just recreating. I was doing a lot of recreations of other drawings and stuff, like using actual source imagery as a reference, or like using that as like the base for a design. I like what I'm doing now, but a lot more where it's like it's my interpretation of that character, which I was doing more so when I was doing video game stuff, because like I didn't want it to look like an ad for the video game or like some official piece of merch, because I was like trying to put a spin on it where I was like trying to make it like retro even if it was a new game. So I'm doing that, but like linking it back to sorry, wait, one sec. Just had to go check something. Probably should be using a bigger brush for this bit. Oh, it's hard to say. It's like bigger brush would be quicker, but I feel like I have to be very kind of like delicate with it. I don't think about this thing because it's like made out of plywood, and plywood's like cheap wood, but it soaks up paint so well that like you don't really have to give it much more than like a light coat for the paint to like really just be fine on it. Might have to go back. No, this one might need. Seems, although to be fair, I've used a lot of just black paint for most of it, so I could be just talking at my house. You don't know. I'm trying to think too. After this, I think we're going to do a game stream, but I don't know which game to play yet. I need to check what I've got and what's come out. Maybe something newer or something older. Oh, was it actually pretty excited for the Grand Theft Auto remake. Like, I don't know if I'd buy it, but apparently one of them will be free on the PlayStation Store if you got the PlayStation Plus thing, which I have. I think I saw it was Grand Theft Auto 3. Wouldn't mind playing it with all the graphic update, because the style that they went with, instead of trying to make it like super realistic like they did with like the newer GTA, like GTA San Andreas 5 and 4, they just like kind of like updated the cartoony style that the original games had with newer lighting and textures to make it a bit more modern, but still have the same kind of like feel as the original games. Because it was so weird, like looking at it, the release trailer, and it's like, yeah, the game looks like how I remember it, not like how the game actually was, because the original games are just so old and like not great as far as graphics and stuff went. So yeah, if there's one for free on the PlayStation, 100% want to get in and play that, just to like mess around with it. Oh yeah, I was going to do, actually I might do that next. I was going to do one of the channel surfing thing idea I came up with. I might do that before I do a game, but that's just like one night. Gotta be a little bit set up for that channel surfing thing too. I need to create another account to want to use for it. But at the same time, it's like it's only going to be. I think I'm just going to use Edge so that it'll keep it separated from all my other stuff, so I don't get like shitty recommendations on everything. Be like, oh yeah, you watched all this shit. That's looking pretty. Okay, why not? I like how it doesn't really dry glossy, although it will be shinier when I finish with it, because I'm going to cover it in a gloss like varnish to seal the paint in, but also kind of like strengthen the wood itself. do. So I'm gonna do this bit yellow. Actually, I might do this bit brown before I forget. Well, I've got black. I was like, I just painted that. You fucking moron. Okay, let's go the other way. Sorry if I was breathing right into the mic. I had to. Let's paint black, so that's fine. I was like, I need to really concentrate on this little bit. I'm gonna tickle my nose because it's like dead cat thing I built for it on my mic, and just like really tickles. That gold. Use some of this gold paint up because this shit I have to mix it each time and it's gonna be different each time, so when I can try and do as many large sections as I can with it before I have to like throw it out essentially, because since I only do this once a week, it's a real waste otherwise. And it's hard to get it the same. I don't even think this is the same. And it's hard to tell too because it dries darker. All these acrylics dry darker than they are wet. It's like this is kind of close, not 100%, but like close enough. And the worst thing is I like this colour more than the original. I suppose I could go back over it. Might do that at the very end, maybe touch it up with all one colour of gold. Half an hour to go. Do all this bit in this car. I don't think I'll stream the varnishing after this, because the varnishing won't be super exciting and it's probably only going to take a little bit, because it's like it'll be literally like cover one side and varnish, stop, cover the other side and varnish, stop. There'll be like long pauses in between waiting for it to dry. Might post like a picture of the varnished completed one. Oh, I should. No, I do have a photo. Good. I was like, shit. I should have taken a photo before I started painting it. It's like, don't. I did that. I could check it out. So you do it before and after. No, good. Thank God I'm not completely stupid. I'm realizing I'm not presenting to camera. Can it be here? I guess, yeah, here. It's very, very delicate work, and I'm fucking it up a little bit. I can be more reckless on this side because I can just paint over it if I fuck it up. Maybe I should have done this bit first because it's the lighter colour. That would make sense actually. Oh, actually I shouldn't do this side because I gotta lay it down. Fuck, I'm dumb. Shit. Oh well, no, it actually has to be done. I just have to hold it up while it's drying. It's actually looking pretty fucking suave. God damn it, touching all the wet paint again. As I decided to, it's like I need to get a new computer before next year. My computer needs to be updated. It's basically nothing really all that wrong with it. It's just everything in it is to the point where it's like it's pretty out of date, and a lot of software is no longer supported. Mainly on my processor. Processor's probably about 10 years old at this stage, so she's quite old. The thing is too, it's like by no means like shit. Like I could build a worse computer than what I've got now and it be more supported, even though it would be like half as powerful as this one. I've got like a 3.4 gigahertz i7 in this one, and I could build a brand new i5 computer, and it would be worse. Like it would be slower than this computer, but because the i5 would support newer drivers than this computer, the i5 would technically function more smoothly than mine. I keep getting a lot of these errors, a lot of stuff lags, particularly a lot of the times one of the things that lags the most, ironically, is Windows File Explorer. It tends to jitter a lot on me. So I need to get all that stuff upgraded. Not too long from now. Okay. There we go. Yeah, this does need another coat of paint. I lied about the fucking... Oh yeah, plywood's great to fucking paint on. It just takes the paint like there's no tomorrow. I lied. I lied a lot. I realised too, when I was laying this out, I need to get better like paper to like use to when I'm painting. Because this one, I literally was like, oh yeah, I'll just go to the fucking server and just grab, I think it's like a Sunday mail from a year ago. Just because it was so thick and it had so much paper in it. I realised I've got to be kind of careful of like which part of, double check what I can put, what I should be putting on the, like let show on the stream. Because underneath this piece of paper, on this side, on the back side of the paper, because it's fucking News Corp, is a pretty like racist depiction of a of Chinese people. Like I was like looking at it, I'm like, that's actually like very like not good. Like that's not a very good like look to have on a string. So I was like, gotta fucking get rid of that. Which isn't surprising. I remember I went to there's a like a cartoonist museum thing in Cots. And some of the like political cartoonists that a lot of News Corp hires tend to draw particularly Aboriginals in like a very like reductive kind of manner. Not really like you see them next to the same artists and how they depict like white people, and it's very much like, oh wow, yeah, the person who that's Priyan, oh fucking moron. The person who drew this doesn't exactly have the most positive view of Aboriginals. I can't remember the name of the artist, but I'm pretty sure he no longer works for News Corp. I don't think he works at all for anybody. And not because he got fired either. He retired. So he had a long, illustrious career of doing these pretty like gross drawings. And it was funny too, because there was even like some images in which he himself tried to like it was very clear that he was getting called out for the way he was depicting Aboriginal people in like the newspaper, and he tried to address the criticism by essentially just doing a palette swap of an Aboriginal drawing that he essentially drew an Aboriginal but then just coloured them to be white, and it was like, look, see, I draw them all the same. That also doesn't really work when you have a line of that person's work just laid out and you can see all their previous and future work as like where they went after doing that controversy. They're like, look, see, I addressed it, didn't really apologise, and now I'll go straight back to business drawing people who aren't white in a reductive manner that makes them look like primitive caveman, essentially. He always drew them with massive lips, giant protruding jaws. They didn't have eyes either. So like, which when it comes to like drawing a cartoon is very clearly like, you as the artist, if you draw characters that don't have eyes, you're drawing them to be like other. Like you want them to not be like, you want people to not be able to identify with the character because they don't have eyes. Yeah, so he never drew eyes on them. There was always like this black shaded thing, so they're just darkness. It was just like a black shade around their eyes. They never had any eyes, and they also always looked angry and grumpy. So it's just like, yeah. But it's like fucking News Corp for you. It's just fucking. It's owned by the guy that owns fucking Fox, that just has white supremacists just talking about white supremacist shit on the radio, on the television all the goddamn time. It's just what happens, apparently, and then everyone's totally cool with it. To the point where this, like, people will fucking showcase their art as like an exhibit. Like this wasn't like a collection of all of this person, like all these like different kind of like news artists' work, and like showing it within context. It was literally like a celebration of this person in particular, and the work that they did for this country, as it was put. And it's kind of like pretty disgusting to see that kind of stuff being glorified. And it not be that old. And it was really weird too, because in some of the earlier stuff, it had like work that he had done in his art style that was like not so much political as it was just like an example of this person's work and what they could do. And they had skill. Like there was like, I think you could look at the work and be like, this is good work. Like this is whoever did this has like a great deal of skill. They, in some of the work, they were merging several different like art forms, like sketch, paint, and then like this ink work that was on an acrylic platter and putting it over the top of the work. It like looked, you could get really like a really cool image and a really cool effect. But then like like that's at the start, and then as he goes through it, it's like you can see when he started working at News Corp, and then like all his work just took this like one way shift in down this like conservative rabbit hole of just shit. The thing was too, looking at these people's like work, because it's called like the Cartoonist Gallery or something, and based on that name I thought it was like going to be a bit more than just political cartoons. But like a lot of it wasn't very good, because I don't know, it's just something about like conservatism and art where like they don't go together, because conservatism is inherently repressive. When it comes to trying to create conservative art, the artwork itself is repressive, and then it only follows like a certain like strict structure, and then suffers because of it. Alright. I'm thinking that's pretty good. No, I have to do one on the other side of it. What time is it? 15 minutes, and then I'll have to log off. And I gotta go for a mad drive. This took a lot of my time just because it was so kind of like fiddly and delicate. Yeah, that's looking pretty good. That's one side of it done. There's a little few bits I missed here. That's looking good. Oh man, I missed a lot in there actually. On this side. I'm just like, yeah, cool. Oh, I missed. I see bits I missed. And that's sticky. Well, that's mostly dry, which is good. I just realized I sat that down. It's looking not bad. It's, again, not, I don't know why this comes out so yellow on the screen. It's not as brightly coloured as that. So it's like, that's one side done. Now I still gotta do this side. From this to that. I'm liking it. It's not bad. I shoved it out. Do I want to do some work on this side? I might finish this bit off, so it won't take too long. Good news is this side, ironically, it shouldn't take me that long to do. It's a lot more, I don't know, I say ironically, like this side shouldn't take me that much longer to do. I think I should only get done next time I do a stream, which I might do on Sunday, maybe. See how I feel, what the weather's like. Today it's cloudy, but also just like random thunderstorms, so it's like I ain't going outside. I ain't going outside because I'm just going to get caught in the rain. Yeah, because it's so flat. This side's so flat compared to the other side. They had a lot more detail because of the, I don't know what they are, whatever these bits are supposed to be. I think they're supposed to be like bullets, maybe. Yeah, because they're so much, just this side's so much flatter, it should take me a lot less time to do. So I should be able to bang it out in one more stream. Yeah, tomorrow my main thing is I want to get that story I was talking about finished, because it is finished, but I need to proof it. I've already did, and like my method of proofing is a bit different because since I'm dyslexic, it is a bit hard for me to just like reread my work and know that I've like corrected everything, because I tend to, I'll miss stuff or I'll write the wrong word but read it as though it's the right word that I want to use, or I'll do something like reuse words a lot, double up on the same word in a sentence. Like I'll do stuff like that. So the way I do my proofing is I write it out once, just like dump it onto the page, and then I read it as I put it through Grammarly. Grammarly's not the best, but it's good for picking up some details that I often overlook. And then once that's done, I don't want to put that much. Once that's done, I put it into the Word doc, and then I copy and paste out each paragraph into a text-to-speech like generator, and listen back what I've written, and that will help me go, it's like, oh, that was not right, that sentence doesn't sound wrong, that's not how I want that to be read correct, and like it's easier for me to like break it up. And because I've just like, I think a lot of people probably, even if you're not dyslexic, you run into this issue where like when you're reading something back that you've written like 1,000 times, you tend to you miss mistakes that you made because you just kind of like glance over it because you've read the same thing like 20 times. Having a text-to-speech thing read it to you in such a flat tone, it kind of like it helps me see where I've gone wrong, because the errors seem to stick out a lot more on something that doesn't sound natural, like a text-to-speech kind of thing. Yeah. For anyone that wants to do like proofreading, if you want to do some little hint to doing proofreading, is to use a text-to-speech app and have that just read out the stuff, because that way I find it the best way to like clock on the things that I missed. So good for time. Just do this time. time. I've got 5 minutes. Do I want to do any more or not? No. Once that dries, it'll be a lot easier to. Oh, actually, oh wait. I was like, why did I put more out when I didn't use it? I was gonna do another coat on the thing while it's like mostly dry. Head on thick too. It's a bit more paint too. Ooh, really like get it on there. There we go. Nice and thick. Maybe too thick. Oh no. Actually, yeah, that might have been too thick. Oops. Oh well. Just like mix it up. So yeah, next stream might be on Sunday. I might do it Sunday morning. Or Sunday afternoon, lunchtime, maybe. I don't know. Whenever. I should be able to finish this by then on that stream. Finish the painting at least. Early. And then yeah, I can I'll do the gloss stuff later, and then what we will do, I'm going to do watch the channel surfing thing. Let me get light on it. So yeah. One side done, so we do the other side. Yeah, I actually really like that. That came out a lot better than I thought it would, especially with the darkened red. Yeah. Cool. Yeah, so I might do it on Sunday or Wednesday. Wednesday night is usually when I stream. Just a nice midweek break from everything, just to relax and chill out. This is actually pretty relaxing, and I feel like going to sleep now actually. But I can't. I need to go to shit. But yeah. So I will see. I'll do this again next time, maybe Sunday, if I don't have anything else to do. But yeah, that'll be it. Thanks for coming by. Hope you had a relaxing time. This was very chill, just painting and me bitching about shit. Probably not the best. Yeah, it's just very more chillaxed kind of stream. I'm gonna just so yeah, I'll do this again later. Hope you had a great time. See you when I see ya. Enjoy your day, night, or whatever.